Welcome back to another Tips and Tricks Thursday. My name is Derek, and today I'm going to be going over this iPad. I have no idea what's wrong with it. All I know is that it went to a repair shop, I believe because it wasn't powering on. Maybe it was a charge port. Who knows? They stated it wasn't fixable, so let's take a look at it and see if we can figure it out. Let's get started. All right, so let's first start by plugging this in just to see if anything happens. And I don't think there's a charge port there. Okay, so there's no charge port. That's interesting. Okay, it's definitely been opened before. There's a gap here at the top. Let's see. Yep. Okay, they didn't really close it up, which is nice. Let's see if we can open it up without breaking it. If I'm gentle, I might just be able to pry this out without cracking the glass. And it's slowly separating. There we go. Okay. I'll work way down the side here. Nice and slowly. Come on, let go, let go. There it goes. Okay. And let's work our way down the bottom. Sometimes it's kind of nice when things aren't put back together. I think they realized that someone's going to have to open this, so let's not worry about re-adhering it. Looks like something's happened here with one of the Wi-Fi antennas. Like Captain tape on it or something. Okay. Yeah, somebody tore the antenna there. Okay, so it has a replacement digitizer. It does not have a charge port. Let's take out the screws for the display, and then we can carefully lift up the display. Looks like there's some kind of scuffs and scratches on it, which is not nice. We'll disconnect the display. There's no bracket, which is interesting. Disconnect the home button and digitizer. And let's pop that off. All right, so it looks like it has a new battery in it, but we're definitely going to need to take this board out. So let's remove the battery screw. I'm assuming it's going to be a botched repair attempt. That is not the right screw. Oh no. Okay. Like this is like a Samsung screw for the battery. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. So hopefully there's no like long screw damage up there. But they put it back the wrong screws, and it definitely sheared away that anchor point there. And definitely not the right screw for the top. Man. Well, let's disconnect the power button, the coax connectors, and let's lift out this board. Put some isopropyl alcohol down under, and that came up a lot easier than I expected. All right, and let's take a look. Oh, fun. Missing pads. All right, so, okay. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. Let's see what it's going to take to fix it. I think we just need to go straight under the microscope and take a look at the damage. So let's do that. All right, so let's get that into focus. Very interesting. Okay, so this is ground. You can tell because the traces are going out into the straight into the vast area here. So this one's ground. These two are connected to these ones. Okay, let's see, we've got another ground. These are grounds. Those are all connected. That's good. Okay, ground. These three are not ground. And there's partial pads, which is good. It'll be easy to rebuild them. This one's ground. This is an important data line. These are important data lines. And then these two on the other sides of it are ground. So this will be fun. All right, so we've got our iPad model A1893. This is the 2018 iPad. Let's take a look here. Let's flip this over so that we're looking at it in the same orientation. All right, so okay, the first two are ground on both sides here. This one, and this one we're gonna need to fix. We do need to fix this one, these two. I'm going to grab a picture of this real quick so that I can refer to it if I need to when we put the charge port on. So to start, I'm going to go to the important ones that we're going to be fixing. I'm going to zoom on in there so we can see what we're doing. And it looks like the traces got completely torn out, but the little tiny points where they dive into the board are still there. And using the schematic, if these are gone as well, you can peel back. Oh, there's a pad. You can peel this back and reveal these test points that you can jump to and instead of here, and you'll be fine. There's a tech tip. So I just want to uncover as much as I can of these little traces so I can run a jumper to it. So there's that one. Let's uncover this one. All right, that's uncovered. Let's move over. We've got this one we need to do. All right, this one I can just bridge these two together, but this one, we're gonna give ourselves a little bit more to play with than just that little teeny trace. And with this one's ground, I can just jump it to this one. Those are all good. These are all connected. You can see this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. They're connected. So we can just bridge these here. These are all ground. So ground planes do typically help complete circuits. And so some ground planes are definitely needing to be attached. So I'm going to take the time to make sure we get at least each one of the contact points on the flex connected to ground. So what we'll do on this side is I'm going to uncover some of the ground planes so we can attach stuff to it. The next step is going to be getting out our soldering iron, and let's tin up these traces. Okay, and let's tin up these ones as well. We'll add some flux. It's going to make a big difference when it comes to making it look good, but it's going to keep the solder from oxidizing too much. Alright, so I'm going to get out our little trace pad repair kit. These aren't as big of traces as the traces down here. They're about not half the length, 2/3 of the length, but they will do. They will work for what we need them to. Alright, let's start with this first one. We'll get out our iron, and I'm going to put it in place, break off the little tail there. Let's move to the second one, line it up, and we'll tack it in place. There, I like the position of that one, but we need to bend it over there. And then we can break off this tail. We have to be careful doing the next one right next to it because we could potentially knock it off all of the work we've just done. That looks good. See if we can get that a little bit more lined up. We'll break off the tail, and then we'll start up here on these top three. Okay, there's one. Break off the tail. Alright, let's do the second one without messing up the first. Okay, we'll break off the tail, and let's do the third one just like this. Alright, and there's the third one, so we'll break off its little tail here. Now let's move over down to this one. For this I've got some copper here. Let's see what we can do with it, because we can have all of these forges bridged. What I'm going to do real quick is we're going to wick away some of the excess solder here so that we can cut off the end, just like that. We'll shear it away. Now the trickiest part in my opinion, and the hardest part, is to clean up the flux so we can apply some UV mask. But I'm going to add some isopropyl alcohol, and we'll gently get out a brush, and I'm going to be wiping in the direction that these little tails are going. That way I'm not folding over the pad. Try to almost clean under them without damaging it. And we'll clean up this section. I can be pretty aggressive down here because there's really nothing I need to worry about. Alright, now we're going to come in with a Q-tip and really clean and dry this area up. Okay, this first one's really nice, clean, no flux. Need to get this second area like that as well. Alright, and now we're going to dry it up with a cloth, and I'm going to try to pick up all of these little fibers without tearing off my traces. Alright, I'm now going to get some UV mask, and we'll apply a couple little dots starting back with the tails, and then let's zoom down in on there, and we're going to drag it and encapsulate the trace as much as we can. Try not to break it. Let's do the same over here on these two, and then on these three, and then I'm just going to go on the border of this to kind of help have some type of something hold this down. Alright, now we'll cure it with the UV light. These ones are looking like they're bobbing a little, and we don't want them to be too raised up. So I'm going to kind of compress them down for a second as I cure. See if we can get that, get them a little lower. And now we'll cure it for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and clean it up. And they're almost all the way cured. Alright, so now that that's cured, I'm going to go back in real quick with a razor blade. And we're just going to carefully scrape away the top coat. And we'll do that on each one of the areas where we need to reveal the trace. And then we can work on the next step. Let's first just clean off all of this. Some isopropyl alcohol. Get rid of any of those And I have the debris there. And my tweezers left a couple little teeny high marks, so I'm also going to knock those down. Okay, we should be ready for a new flex. Okay, so here we've got our new charge port flex. If we line this up side by side, you can see the first two are connected to ground here. Those two are connected to ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and tin everything up real fast. Just going to add some flux all over. We'll get out our soldering iron and we'll add some solder to each one of these pads real fast. And just with a couple little taps on each one of the pads, we'll have built up enough solder to really get this connected. Okay, that's sufficient for me. Now what really helps, I found, is you add a teeny bit of flux on top of these little squares on the end, and that'll help clarify the window. Put some flux on the flex, and now we're going to line up the little square in the window in this corner, and we're going to tack up the corner there, and then we'll come over to the other side and we'll compress this on down and we'll tack this in place. And then I'm just going to go and kind of skim over all of these ones, kind of pushing down with the iron, putting solder on each one of the pads, getting it to connect down below. And I'm going to take the time to really make sure each pad is making nice solid contact with the board below. Alright, now that I'm satisfied with each one of those, we'll take a Q-tip and some isopropyl alcohol and we'll clean up all of the flux. Alright, now, even though I don't know the values on JC drawing, I'm going to get out our multimeter here and we're going to test real quick. So we should have ground, 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 ground. Let's go over to this side. Ground, grounds, okay. 0.7. I'm getting open line. Might be 0.7. Okay. So this third one, or the fourth one over, I'm getting open line when I touch it, but when I push down, I get a reading, which means I need to tack it a little bit better. Let's see if that does it. I'll let the solder suck through it down to the pads. So there we go, 0.7, 0.7, ground, 0.8, ground, 0.45, 0.45, ground, ground, 0.7, 0.7, ground, 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 ground. Okay, let's go up to the top here. Ground, ground, 0.45, 0.45. Basically, the way to test these is you want to be able to not have to push down on them at all and get them to read something. 0.45, 0.45, 0.45, 0.46, yep, 0.458. OL. If I push down anything, that one says OL. It might be an open line. Let's just really make sure it's tacked just in case. I don't see any traces coming off of it on the charge port flex, so you can kind of see traces coming off even under them. This one there is nothing, like there's no trace going under it, so it might not be anything. Still nothing. And I believe that's this one. So there's a test point here we can check with real quick. So let's do that. So let's peel this up. Gently peel back this sticker here. Okay, so it dips down, comes back up. It's the second one over. So we're just going to see if we've got continuity here and here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, that's important. If I test the test point, what do we get? 0.45. So we're gonna run a jumper real quick because that's supposed to be connected. So we'll tin up the pad that needs to be jumped to, just like that. All right, we'll grab a jumper wire and we'll tack it to the test point here. And I'm just gonna jump it across here and we'll make sure it's not touching here in a second, but well, there. Now it's bridged. We'll cut the little remaining tail off gently. Now if we touch that, we should be getting a reading. 0.46, okay. Ground, ground, 0.45, 0.45, ground. And then these ones always read. These ones always read kind of short to ground. All right, let's add some isopropyl alcohol. Let's clean up the flux. And what I'm gonna do is we'll slide in a blade here. We're gonna elevate it up so it's definitely not touching anything. Thoroughly clean it. Take some UV mask. And I'm just gonna mask off a little bit of this area. This will reinforce it a little bit, but also protect it from shorting out at all. And now that I'm satisfied with that, we'll cure it with the UV light. And then we'll just cover it up with some Captain tape, and then we'll test it. Just gonna run a quick test here with my TriStar device connected. We'll do a quick test. Dock flex is okay, and TriStar says fail. So there's a good chance that this was either a charge port repair, or somebody tried the charge port because they thought that's the solution, when it might have been more like the actual TriStar IC. So let's just test it real quick, because sometimes these aren't correct. But let's just install this real quick and see if we get any sort of charge. We'll slide it in. I'm not going to worry about the digitizer. I just want to see if we have image, or just to see if we have charge. Let's connect up only the display. Okay, we've got the display connected. Connect up a charge port, and I'm not getting any life out of that while compressing down the battery connector. So let's go ahead and replace TriStar real fast, and we'll see what that does. And just double checking that all the pins are good on the battery, just to make sure that wasn't what was happening. So yeah, I think we've got a TriStar issue. So we'll go ahead and pop off the shield here, and let's go and look at the TriStar. All right, so the way that I like to do these, I've shown this in previous videos, but basically what I'll do is we'll score the frame right here with a razor blade, just like that. And then we'll do the same over here. And then I like to score on top of the shield here on the kind of the edge. And then we'll do the same going this way. Just a nice deep scrape. Now we'll grab a pair of snips, and I'm going to make a little cut there so we can start to peel this away. And then I'm going to take the time to carefully snip off and peel, if I can, around the top of this. Now I like to do it this way just so I can leave that border without tearing the ground plane, although it typically doesn't do anything. If you tear below, it can and damage the traces. And rebuilding all of the traces down there is no fun. So I like to do it this way if I can help it. And then also when it comes time to put back the shield that covers all of this area, there's no issue there. So this is the cleanest way I've found. If you have any other way, leave it in the comments below. Okay, and now we've exposed our charging IC. If you can tell, we've got our, let's see if I can read that. So 610A3B, kind of hard to make out. Dot is in the top right corner. Alright, so I'm going to take a shield and we're going to cover up and protect the connectors there. We're ready to come in with our hot air. We'll lift that out, go down in there with some flux, reposition this so I can get a better angle on it. Get out an iron. I've got some 138 solder paste on it. Take some wick, and we do have a little, I think, a resistor down there that's got moved out of place, so we need to worry about it in a second. But we're just gonna wick up all of the solder, and all right, and let's see if we can wick up the rest of the pads there. Okay, that looks good enough. Let's clean up the flux. There we go. Got my 610A3B TriStar, and let's grab one of these. Peel that off. There we go. Add a little bit of flux down there. Nothing crazy. Line up the dot in the top left corner now because we've changed our position of the board, and we'll line up the TriStar perfectly. So I've got two things I want to see happen. I want to see this chip drop, and then this little, oops, and then this little filter drop as well, right here back into place. I'm going to add a little bit more flux. Oh, that's a lot more, but that's fine. Okay, let's warm this up slowly and see if we can make this happen. Move some of the flux over. Alright, we should be snapping down soon. Come on, let's see some movement. There's that snap on the little filter, and there's the movement of TriStar. 1, 2, 3. Pull it away. Normally I would nudge it, but I'm afraid of knocking something else right now. That movement was plenty for me. We'll let this cool down, and then we'll go and test it. All right, so let's remove the shield and let's test it real fast with our TriStar tester. All right, we'll plug it in. We'll plug it in. Disconnect device. Device connected. Let's run a quick test and see if this time it passes it. Our dock's okay. And 7, 14, 21. It's moving faster already than it did before. 42, 49. It hung up on 49 before. A lot longer than normal. 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 100%. And as a warning, that's for the battery. Now it's failed on 2. I'm going to go nudge it real quick. All right, let's see if we can't give this a little nudge snap back into place. Yeah, that wasn't on there too perfectly. There's a snap, a real big snap. Okay, that first little nudge just felt like it hadn't fully connected, so let's go and take a look at it now. I'm gonna see if this will turn on, because that battery seems to have a bit of juice. The only thing is I think they stripped the... All right, we do have a backlight, no image, but it looks like this display is no good. Let's, I don't have another display, and now we're charging. I just can't see anything, but I am pulling amps. Now you can see it's on, it's working. There's just no image because this display is not working and it's all like cloudy in this corner. So yeah, it's charging and it's recognizing when I'm plugging it in, but this needs a new display. I guess I'm gonna have to stop right there because this display isn't working. Fun. Well, unfortunately, that's where I'm gonna have to end today's video. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. Kind of not the ending that I wanted. I wanted to see an Apple logo, of course, and a charging symbol, but we do have it pulling current, which looks normal. Just gonna have to get a new display to see if that's the only thing else this iPad needs. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if there's something that you'd like to see in a future video. Thanks a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next video.